What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I remember. What's going on? I'm glad you're here to join me on, I guess this is our 8th day. I don't know how many days we're going to do this, but this is our 8th day in a row of doing live streams, which I just think is funny. One thing I noticed today, well, at least I noticed in the last few days, is there's been a lot of movement on this new image title, Little Bird Number One. I think there's only like one or two store variants. I don't think there's that many. I saw that there was a Mike Ruth one, and I think like the people who did the Mike Ruth one did two covers with two different artists. So but I think that's the only one I saw. There's also like an Emerald City Comic Con one. But anyways, the reason I bring this up is because I've seen a lot of these books are moving online. They're moving like for $4.99 to $11 to $10.99. Which again, this book just came out. It's first print. Image said it's sold out at distribution, and it's going to a second print that's going to have a different cover. This weekend is Emerald City Comic Con, so they did a variant for that. They also did a Comics Pro variant for the last Comics Pro, which I think was in Charlotte. I could be wrong on the exact location, but that book's also in play because that would be the first appearance that came out obviously came out before this week. So that there is a lot of movement there, and I think it's just interesting. A lot of people I think all the ones on eBay are above are above $3.99. I think the going rate right now is $4. And I noticed Midtown has them in stock. I ordered 10 copies off Midtown earlier today, so you can find them if you look hard enough. But this book does seem to be getting a little bit of buzz. I didn't read it completely. I did skip through it. The artwork looks kind of nice, but it is on my to read pile. I've just been a little busy, but it's a nice book. And again, the Emerald City Comic Con cover seems to be getting $30. And the Ashcan is getting 20, and that should be the first appearance. So I think right now that's underpriced, and it does seem like there seem to be some auctions right now that do seem to be trending up. So it's definitely a book to be thinking about. Another book to be thinking about, water break, is Super Crooks #1. News came out this week that it's being turned into a manga animated series on Netflix, which I think is fantastic. If you don't remember Super Crooks, it's in the Miller World universe. It was actually published by Marvel, so it's before all of the Image ones. And there's only one cover for the first issue, which is great. Finally, a Mark Miller book that you can actually speculate on without having to buy a million covers. But this one's all about a bunch of supervillains that end up doing some kind of robbery heist. It was a mini, and I really enjoyed it when it came out. And so I think this is before Miller went Hollywood and all of his stuff became a little out there. This is a great series, and it's a great book to be looking for. And they do seem to be, I think they're hitting like $5 to $10 at this point. So it's a book I think you can still find in the dollar bins, but it's a great book. Now on comicbookspeculation.com, my website, we have a writer named Nico, and he put out an article yesterday that I was only able to publish today because I suck. But part of the article is that he noticed there was movements with one character. So there was that I wanted to briefly touch on and just question, because it's kind of like a rantable thing. So in the beginning of this month, I think it was this month or last month, Tyrese Gibson was cast in Marvel's Morbius movie. So it was for an unnamed character. Nobody's really sure. But this week, for some reason, people are assuming that he's playing Blade, which I think sucks. Why would we be recasting Blade? Well, recasting Blade actually kind of makes sense, because if you look back to what happened with Blade 3, Wesley Snipes was an executive producer, or at least he was supposed to be, and then he ended up suing Marvel, the director, and the producers, and part of it was like Jessica Biel was too old to be his daughter, and there were a bunch of other things that he was complaining about. And I know that I think it was Patton Oswalt. He's been on record of saying that when he's in Blade 3, he said that all Wesley Snipes would do was just smoke weed in his trailer all day, and then barely even be on set. So I don't know, but Wesley Snipes did sue a bunch of people over Blade 3, so I'm not sure if he's ever going to be able to come back as Blade in any of the movies or TV shows. I think it would be great if he did. I would definitely embrace that, but I don't know if the studios will let him because he's kind of a toxic person. But that brings us back to Tyrese. Like, Tyrese is also a very toxic person, and it doesn't make sense. But also, aside from being like a toxic person, like, let's just look at Blade's just a really cool guy. He's a great character, a very underutilized character in the Marvel universe. But again, Tyrese is Tyrese. It just, to me, this doesn't make sense. This would be a terrible casting if it were true. But I also want to make mention, like, what's going to happen when they make a sequel to this movie, or Jared Leto ends up in a Spider-Man movie, and Tyrese isn't brought on. Is he going to start making, like, these cry videos again? Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but back when Tyrese started, I guess, arguing and fighting with The Rock, he made this really weird Instagram video where he's just crying for 11 minutes about how he can't see his daughter and how he can't make child support payments or something. And then at the end, and this is the only reason I bring this up, because that just sounds terrible. But at the end, he blames The Rock. And he says that the reason all of this is happening is because The Rock wanted to make a spin-off movie of Fast and the Furious, and they weren't going to make Fast and the Furious 9 or 10 or 11 or whichever one that they're at right now, and that it was delayed, and he blamed them. So that's why I kind of want to see him in this Morbius movie. I kind of don't want him to be Blade, and I want to see what happens when they make a spin-off and they bring Jared Leto in other movies, and then his reaction. Because, again, he's just going to be crying. That's what he does. He makes these cry Instagram videos where, like, 5 seconds later he's smiling and everything's a joke. I don't even think he was really crying in this video, but, that was a great video of Tyrese. I hope he's not Blade, but listen, it's brought a lot of attention to this book, and that's what's happening. So, I don't know. Patrick's asking me in the chat, what is my thoughts on the various Immortal Hulk spec? Well, I mean, right now people are running towards the Red She-Hulk. I guess I got a key collector app about Betty Ross. Joe Bennett posted a sketch art to Instagram of his rendition of Betty Ross as Harpy. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? And then it has a book. It says that Incredible Hulk 168. Maybe that's a good book to be purchasing. I honestly have no idea what that even means. But I know there's some Devil Hulk spec going around. I didn't post anything about that because, again, it's bizarre. And then I don't know. I think Immortal Hulk is a great book to be purchasing. I think it's great that people are buying books for what's actually happening in them, and that they enjoy it for the read. I think that's great. But I would also like to remind everybody that this is exactly what happened with Hawkeye. And when I say Hawkeye, I don't mean the Jeff Lemire run, which was great. I mean the Matt Fraction run, which was probably one of the greatest Hawkeye runs that there's ever been. The books had new characters, they had new ideas, and the number one sold really well. The number one variant sold really well. But now what do they sell for? Almost nothing. So you could find those books in the $1 to $5 bins, which is crazy because, I mean, number one was hitting $20 to $30. The variants were hitting much higher than that, and even almost all of those books have fallen down. So why was Hawkeye selling well? Because it was a great read. Why is Immortal Hulk selling well? Because, again, it's a great read. It's not because it's new characters. Some people will say it's new characters. It's not. It's not because it's new ideas. Are these really new ideas? I strongly disagree. But listen, Hulk has some great. It has some great cover art, and I think it's great that people are buying Immortal Hulk. It's honestly something that I embrace, and I think more people should be buying issue 1s and any of the other issues they think in that series. But when you start the Harpy Betty Ross thing, I'm not really quite sure what's going on with that. And then the Red She-Hulk, like what Immortal Hulk is, the Red She-Hulk is now going to become the Immortal Hulk. I don't get it. I don't think we should be buying these books. And again, as I pointed out in another video, Thor can just break Hulk's neck at any moment. And then where are we going to be? What are we going to be left with? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be left with a 10-minute video, which is really my aim anyways, so. What's that? What's this? Don't hit me like that. Get out of here. Whatever. But that's the whole point, okay? And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Tomorrow, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to be do another Jimmy comic rant about Midtown. I'm gonna do that on Sundays now. Every Sunday, maybe that's what I'll do. Who knows? But I will completely go through everything on Midtown, and we'll see what's hot. Because if that's what other people want to do, and they want to put articles out about it, we'll do that. And then also later this week, I'm gonna have like an article about CVA. Because what is CVA? I don't know. Apparently, it's just something that Nico wants to talk about, and we're all supposed to embrace. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you click over here where you can watch my previous video. And then if you click over here, you can subscribe to the channel. And then we do a bunch of videos, every video. Anyways, thanks again for watching. And yeah, thanks guys.